Fortunately, they fixed most of the streets. We have to find these little neighborhood streets. They haven't been put out. We're not getting put out. Well, maybe tomorrow. Anyway, so yeah, you know how I like to brag about the all-wheel drive, super handling all-wheel drive. All right, so I don't want to be on too much of a slant because I might skid into the curb. So just normal, I've got it in drive. And it drives. I might have found one right here. I don't know, that might actually put grass on it. So yeah, this is just regular in drive with the traction control. Complete slab on the virgin snow. We'll give it about half throttle. Well, it's stumbling for some reason. Because my old car never did, and it really bothers me. This car always had that little stumble. So that's not really helping, I think. But yeah, so this regular taking off, no problem. Even going slightly uphill, easy peasy. Oh, there's a nice little. Yeah, there is grass. So I have a stream across here. We can get a little bit of virgin snow on this one. And we can do this one more time, I think. Oh, look at all that. Okay. There's some virgin snow. See? Little slipping. So anyway, the traction control test checks 6 times every second for wheel spin, and when a tire starts to spin, it pulls power from that and distributes it to the other wheels. And if one of them starts to slip, pulls power out of that one, delivers it to the other 2 wheels, and to a maximum of 75% to one wheel, which is fairly substantial. If you only have one tire retraction, you'd want as much power as you could get to it, probably. Yeah, definitely. But also, it has this mode. We put it into drive, or sport mode, downshift to first, turn off the traction control, and now it's a 4-wheel lock. So all tires get 25% all the time, which I think is supposed to be for when you're stuck in mud or something. Anyway. Yes, it pulls on. It does pretty good, but it will burn off. I'm really amazed how this thing will burn off all 4 tires. If I put it in a hard turn and floor it for a stop, it'll go about half a turn, and then all 4 tires will start going smoke. Pretty sweet. But I hate doing that. It just seems like it's wasting tires and seems so wrong. You see this? That's the 4-wheel drive. If I floor it. Whoa, see what I mean? Let's start burning off. With the traction control turned off, I actually have to drive. I can't just toot around like a soccer ball or a grand ball, because with that off, make it get funky. See? Alright. Now, I'm going to turn traction control back on, turn the lock off. And see, it's just not going to accelerate fast enough because it's detecting the slide, so it's cutting power to all four wheels, so I'm probably only getting maybe 40 horsepower, something like that, to all the tires because they're constantly adjusting. As one starts to spin, it backs the power out. If all four are spinning, it backs the power out until something stops spinning. And that's why here, I can't get it to do a big old groovy slide with the stuff on. And if I turn too sharp, it automatically brakes so that we slow down enough to make the turn before flipping. That's a really neat feature too. Not that I really do that very often. Anyway, that's why I really like my little Acura RDX for playing in the sun. It's just bad weather and film. It's just fun. I just noticed last time I went by, I noticed there were people in my car. They're probably going there. Figuring out how the conditions are on my car field before I get out here and have to dodge dummies that don't bother figuring out what their car's limit is in this particular kind of weather. And then when they have to do something, they get surprised. I don't know, someone pulled out in front of me or slid out in front of me, more likely, I'd better hit the brake. Oh no, maybe I shouldn't have been going this fast, because it doesn't seem to pass. That's super fun. See right here, I've got it floored. And I'm still accelerating. But again, if somebody came out there, sliding out of there, I could almost not hit them. I could go off on the right, up on the curb, and going up on the curb at that speed is not going to hurt anything as long as I don't hit it sideways. I have turned in Kansas City. There's this big sweeping turn that drops downhill. It's really nice, a lot of fun to drive. But I was going around a little fast when it was wet or snowy like this actually. Well, it also happened when it was wet. I'm talking about the snowy time, which wasn't that fast. Normally I could take it about 60 to 65 miles an hour, I think, is about as fast as I could go around this curve. And I was probably doing about 35, maybe 40, and all four tires just broke loose and the car started sliding sideways. And this is a street that has no curbs. It's just pavement, and it's in the city. It's kind of weird that way. But anyway, I'm glad they left it like that, and it starts sliding sideways, and I'm on the inside lane because you cut the lane, cut into the inside to go around the turn as fast as you can, which I just like doing it as a game. It's also made me better, especially when I drive this turn several times a week, at least. So I let off the gas, and it keeps on sliding, and so I just turn towards the edge of the road and hit the edge of the road with both tires, which is what I would want to do with a curb there. Hit both tires at the same time head on. That gives your suspension the best chance of responding properly and not bending something. It gets both sides to absorb the shock, which is a lot better than one side hitting and at a time, because then both sides absorb the full shock each time, or each side absorb, you know what I mean. And also when they're straight on, that's when most of these joints are strongest. You can get these knuckles and U-joints and stuff. Well, not really U-joints, but your CB joints, that sort of thing. They're really stronger when they're straight than when they're at an angle. Anyway, I hit it like that and started going down the hill through the snow. And the hill was fairly steep. I'd say 20 25 degrees, maybe 30. It was, I mean, there's no way I could have gone back up that slope. Probably if it were dry, because I'm not geared low enough. I don't think I can do it. And it was that steep. And this thing will go up some pretty steep stuff. It's got those short stroke with fat pistons, which gives it a lot of low end torque, which turbocharged cars need, because they usually go with a skinnier piston and a longer stroke gives you more high end speed. But you lose torque. And this gets high speed from the turbo, so they just threw it all into torque for the low end when you're going slow. They maximize the low speed torque, which was really smart move. And you have to rely on the turbo to get you going when you're at speed, because it organizes the laps off tiny little short strokes. Anyhow, I just cruised on down the hill just fine, and there was another street in there. This was kind of an on-ramp type of thing. It was a street that was dead ending into this other street more than anything else. And I think it was this was. Yeah, there was a car sitting there, but nobody was in the driver's seat. I don't worry about that. Well, another thing that's great about driving in the snow is the cops are all busy working wrecks, so they're not out here trying to bust people when the stop signs. Like bullshit. I'll just get a bottle of booze for my early birthday present. Let's see. What would be the most challenging way to get there as far as road pollution? That would be the least traveled routes. I may have messed up and screwed the booze from that one. That's down by Walmart. I don't want to be around the corner. Anyway, not in that concentration anyway. So, yeah, I just cruised down the hill, went up the bank onto the other road. I mean, I'd angled properly so that when I go up the bank, it's not going to dig the front end of the car into the hill, and it's not going to be at such an angle as when all four wheels are on it. It's going to fall over on its side. Go up. And one of the other things I need to worry about when I'm going in my pickup, I need to hit things like at an angle. So for one thing, don't want to dig the bumper into the dirt on the other side, so I have to hit it at an angle. And the Silverado had a limited slip that was only right rear wheel drive, and so if I was approaching a big ditch that was taller on the far side that I wanted to get up, I would go in left side first at about a 45-degree angle in approach. That would tip the weight of the truck up onto the rear tire that has the most traction, and just hit it with a little bit of momentum in case it has some trouble. But once it gets there, with the weight pitched back on the drive wheel, it digs in. It has really good traction if it's dry, and just pull right on up. And then when I get to the top, you know, ideally my right front tire and left rear tire would be cresting the ridge at the same time, and the weight from the engine pull the front of the truck down, which would leave my drive wheel up in the air. So you had to kind of have some momentum. I had to have momentum when I came off the top, because if I was just creeping up the hill all gingerly, it would just drop, and then I'd have to get out and push the truck the rest of the way until the drive wheel got back on there. Or with the limited, I mean, because it'd be straight up freewheeling, and the limited slip doesn't really do well with the freewheeling tire. I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure it does not just decide, oh, let's put all the power to the tire. It's not spinning freely. It has to be limited slip. When it starts slipping, it engages the other one. But when it just spins, I don't think it does. Anyway, I didn't have to worry about it because I just made sure I had some speed built up and hit it running. Got that back tire up on the ridge. But on this thing, it's got all-wheel drive, so I do the same type of approach, and it's front engine, so when it goes up over the hill, the weight of the engine pulls it flat. However, with all-wheel drive, I can do it gingerly. I can be real careful with what I'm doing, because as long as one tire's touching the dirt, it's okay. And I've probably done more off-roading in this than anyone with the RDX. I still have the white one that my mom wrecked. I drove it for 12 years. She was supposed to put it in the shop while I was visiting my son in Maryland for Halloween for 10 days to get the air conditioner fixed. And she said she was taking it to get some kind of rattle or something that was bothering her fixed, or some piddly little bullshit thing that didn't even matter. And turned left in front of someone, like and they T-boned her a little bit. She told me it was total, but when I got home, it looks like it needs a new driver door and a front end alignment. And if it needs the left front drive structure, I've already had the right front one replaced. That was from a pothole that I hit. It was full of snow. I couldn't see it. And I was just driving along. There's snow about this deep everywhere. And I was probably doing 45 and hit this pothole, and it just, bam, that was the end of my camber and toe in and toe out and all that. I had to drive it with the wheel about 3 o'clock position to go straight. But yeah, the mechanic put the whole assembly on there. He said he got it for $140, something like that. Cost me $350, I think, to have the whole thing replaced, and $120 for an alignment. But that dude is, he does road force alignments and guarantees them. If it ever goes out of alignment, he'll put it back. And I mean, not forever, but for a year or so. I've never taken it back. Never had to. They're going to cover. I think they all recognize me. This town is so small, and I always have my dog with me. So what I would like to do, if I could get enough money, is $150 for a driver's door, $150 for front end alignment, and get that car back on the road. It has better tires than this one. It's got Generals. Maybe get an off-road style of tire, or a bad season tire. Well, don't need it. I don't know what would work best. I've definitely talked to Cohen about it, because he's got the 4x4 experience that we need. Anyway, I'd like to turn it into an off-roader, and maybe if I could have somebody put another differential gear in there where I could put it into low and normal, I think it would be really baller. But that would be some serious, crazy customization. And right now it does so well. But anyway, I like to just put some good off-road tires on it, or good tires for off-roading, not necessarily off-road tires, and go hang out with Kobe and his buddies someday and just see what it can do when it's running with real trucks. I think it would be impressive. And there'd be real trucks there to pull me out. I was wrong. Or when I was wrong, because I will definitely push shit until I'm past the oh shit. I mean, that's kind of the fun of it, and why it's such a great team sport. When you and your buddies go out off-roading and camping. I've done that. I've gone off-roading, and actually we not really, I don't think we went far enough to do off-road camping. I think we just got out there and built a campfire and got drunk and high and took a nap and then went home. I did sleep out there one night though, because I was just out there with my wife and we were just tooling around, smoking weed and talking. I mean, it had a pretty shitty little radio in it. I think it had a cassette back then. I didn't have any cassettes. And we just drove around on trails that we knew we've already driven over, so we didn't have to worry about getting stuck or anything. I stopped somewhere that seemed like the right place, and or a good place, and we fooled around. We were in that little Toyota SR5, so it had the station wagon back on it, which was pretty awesome. And when we pull around, we take a nap, and when we wake up, it's raining, and it's dark. And I'm going, well, you know, we've never been out here when it's raining, or even when it's been really wet, especially all alone. We should get out of here. And I started up, it started moving, and as soon as I started moving, it started sliding and slid backwards, and then I got it around forward again, and it went all the way to the right side first, sliding down this hill on wet grass. And I'm thinking if we were in a place that they're renovating, it was just woods with little hills and a creek, and you know, a really nice place, but somebody decided they were going to develop it into a neighborhood or some sort of commercial property and then turn the wilderness into money. And there were a lot of construction trails and piles of dirt and piles of trees that they bulldozed out of the ground. Believe it or not, it's not that hard to knock down a tree when you have a bulldozer. And so they had a bunch of piles of trees that they squished up, and then they had piles of dirt over here, gravel over there. You know, they're making roads for the neighborhood. And so we could really drive around on the construction roads that were just dirt paths between the different work areas that they had going on. We could travel through that real easy. How you doing? Great, thanks. Happy New Year. Can I get a handle of McCormick? And I'd like some Johnny Walker Red. This is my birthday now. Yeah. But we'd never been on these roads wet, and there were a lot of them had a mixture of sand and red clay looking stuff, which is just as slippery as grease. And I actually found this trail, and what we would do is we'd work our way in. We'd go in on the construction roads, drive around to the different spots and the fun places that we found, some flat areas. Oh, whiskey. Yes. And there were some places that were super greasy, and my cousin got his girlfriend's lifted Jeep stuck in it. It's just, the tires would just spin. It wouldn't even dig a hole. But it was stuck in place where I took our little SR5 and drove up a little mound of dirt. So the bumper was at a diagonal, so it would match the bumper of this Jeep that's 3 feet off the ground. I think she had 44s. And just gave it a little nudge, just enough to get it moving, so a little momentum. and I drove right out of it. With the reversing and spinning. It was pretty hilarious.